Hello and welcome back to Cracking On With The Sun, a Valentine's Day special. And Flick you've bothered to come in today and you've got a love shirt on, which I do love. You look beautiful.
Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd pop in some polyester for the occasion. I have actually got something to tell you about why I wasn't here.
Okay.
So on Monday night, I was at the TV Choice Awards, which meant that I had to have a lie-in on Tuesday morning and not get here to record the podcast.
Hangover?
No, obviously not. I'm a professional. But my point was, there was such a Love Island shaped hole on that red carpet, because usually at these events, it's the bread and butter for the Love Island people, particularly the All Stars, because they're all sort of everything, aren't they?
Yes,
as we know and love about them. And the only people there that were delivering that kind of like young person chaos / glam was a couple of people from Towie, and I was like, oh my god, we do need the Love Islanders.
Oh, I know, but I'm loving having them all in the one place. You know where they are, what they're doing, and you can spot them all the time.
True,
but it'd be nice to get them back. I feel like Joe Garrett with his shoes that have red on the bottom would be like perfect, just to sort of see him every now and again on the red carpet.
I know. And then I was thinking, we are going to have so much to talk to them about next time we see them at events and things.
Yes. Well, thank you for returning.
You're welcome.
Because
thanks for coming back to your job, Flick.
It made me feel quite insecure. So now you're back and we're together again, which is lovely. And just in time for Valentine's Day, actually just preparing for the pod, and we actually do prepare for this, which is kind of frightening, but we had one of the male guys in the office come round with this like massive big trolley, like loads of stuff on it, and he slows down as he gets to my desk. I was like, oh my goodness, there's going to be some flowers on there, some gifts from my admirers. Just keeps on going, just keeps on wheeling. And I was like, right, okay.
Not even Messy Mitch.
I know.
Oh, you never know.
We need to, maybe they're just like late risers.
Yeah, they're all late risers because they're all out the night before.
Yeah, true. Okay, well, we've got time. I'll update you on tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
So last night was a good one. It was just really argumentative and shady, I thought, the entire way through. Everyone not wanting to get up on those podiums. It's the opposite of every Olympic game where you're normally, you are on the gold spot, but these guys, no, they didn't want to, and they were really fighting out, especially that last one.
Most likely to cheat.
They just did not want to get up on there, and it was as if they were going to be assassinated if they did go on the podium. Yeah. It was taken very seriously.
My favourite thing is it reaches a point where all of them are like, I just can't be bothered. Let's just get this bloody finished. And Callum in particular, I think, was just like, oh, for God's sake, just get it done. But
he was great last night. He showed his humour off brilliantly.
Yeah, he's really grown on me. But yeah, it was a tough one, particularly on Georgia H and Anton and Georgia Steele and Toby. I think that they really, had a bit of a rough ride.
Yeah.
How would you feel though? I guess the only way that I can compare to this is, that let's think of the pillars of being a successful Love Islander. And as well as obviously being gorgeous and entertaining, they also want people to sort of care about them, believe in them, and back them. So I suppose that they're worrying about, I don't want to be seen as someone who cheats. I don't want to be seen as someone that's a game player, because they know in Love Island language that's bad. So I guess, were we potentially seeing them being professional in that moment?
I think for sure, because you've got to think this is the second time around, so everything is a little bit more produced in their minds, and they're thinking, how does this look on the outside?
They've got a rep to protect.
And also so they're not in this for fame this time around. They've already got that. So it's important about them going in there and finding someone and being able to make more money out of the villa in a couple, because that is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
In our game, this industry, they all come out and it's all like big deals that are as a couple.
Yeah.
We're more invested in that rather than someone who's failed to find love and they're single.
Yeah.
So I do think we've got to sort of look at it in that way, a bit cynically, because they want to make sure that, no, everyone, it's like Georgia Steele, incessantly saying, you know, we've been through hell. And we've been through hell. I was like, do you know what hell is like?
I was thinking that this morning. I was like, hun, if this is hell, then like
they've got a lot
you have
to
a
go
blessed
through.
life.
Yeah, they've got a lot to go through, I think, as a couple before it's anything near hell.
Honestly.
But yeah, I mean, she's again, I just have to rate her because the way that she can make everything about her, even when it's sort of not about her at all, is a gift. It really is, isn't it? And she gets so offended at everything.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like, oh, I don't care, Tobe, as long as we're happy, Tobe. Why does she say everyone's name straight away? It really annoys me.
It's like someone's told her that that's a way to, you know, like how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, just mentioning the name.
Saying people's name. I think that is a thing. Like saying people's name makes them feel like you're engaged and like listening and there's a connection and that kind of thing.
Well, when we had Paul Brunson on the podcast, he kept saying, Amanda. So listen, Amanda.
Oh my God,
Amanda.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
It's hot.
Do you know, it gives me the ick a bit, you know, like when you're interviewing someone and they say your name a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I fall for it completely because I'm like, we're best friends.
But it's also because I have a bit of a thing of like, I only get called Felicity if I'm in trouble, really.
Yeah.
So if someone full names me, it freaks me out.
And then you're not close enough for them to know your flick.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know. Oh, I'd have to tell you what I did really enjoy about last night's show.
Yes.
That moment of Adam and Arabella on the terrace. Now, I know Arabella on the terrace is usually sexy.
A lot of tongue.
There's a lot of tongue.
Yeah.
But it was just so, like, just quite cute, I thought. Where I don't even care if it's genuine. I just enjoyed it. Them chatting about the dogs they were going to get. He was taking the mickey out of her accent when he was like, when I moved to Battersea.
Because that's how we speak in Battersea.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt like they actually really did get on.
That moment was like a real insight into actually how much they do like each other. And I found it genuine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always looking to be cynical and, you know, and sort of slag them off a little bit like, oh, they're just game playing. But I really found them a genuine, heartfelt moment and just two people like really getting on and enjoying it. And I think they're both the same type where they've just really embraced it. Like they've just let everything else go and they're saying, okay, it might not work out on the outside flick, breaking news, but in there they kind of feel like it is working, so they're just going for it rather than thinking about the future. And I think that's a really nice way to be. I mean, I was saying yesterday about Arabella, she's been one of my favourites to go in there with such an open heart.
Yeah.
And she's had all that horrible stuff happen to her throughout, and yet she still is ready for love.
I think it's amazing. Like, she just sort of keeps going, and she really has been through, like, some fairly substantial stuff. I nearly said hell, but then was like, no.
No, that's Georgia Steele.
I think it's brilliant. And I agree with you. I think that they've both gone, this is going ridiculously fast, but it just is what it is. Yeah. Let's talk about our children.
Yeah. I mean, we've all kind of had that first date where you've maybe had a Prosecco and you're getting on really well and the chemistry's really there and you just start saying these things and you know it's ridiculous, but you kind of just get carried away.
Were you on a date with Messy Mitch? Because he famously always likes to say that same recycled line about when we get married.
When we get married.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm going to bring this up with Mitch when we speak to him closer to the final.
What, your date with him?
Well, we spoke for a good 20 minutes and he didn't ask me to marry him in that time. So I feel like we have to sort of address this.
Rude.
It's a bit of an awkward elephant in the room.
Of all the things that man has done.
That is the worst.
How could he not propose to Mandy D?
Ofcom.
Oh, God. Right, okay, speaking of Ofcom. I've got something to tell you. So this happens on tonight's show, but I feel like this has weight beyond the show. This is going to pull together the Love Island fan massive from across the years, and I'm going to say is seismic. Are you ready?
I'm nervous, actually.
On tonight's show,
Toby
breaks down in tears and opens up about how Chloe Burrows cheated on him.
Oh.
So basically, this has obviously long been rumoured what was the cause of their breakup. They obviously got together in the 2021 show, broke up 2022. Everyone was devastated. And I think everyone thought it was Toby's fault. Neither had really said anything. There was obviously a lot of respect there. But what appears to have been the trigger for this is Toby and Georgia Steele being voted the most likely to cheat in the game last night. So he did hint, I've been cheated on, I would never do that. And he opens up to Anton on tonight's show.
Oh, wow.
He completely breaks down and he talks about how Chloe was his soulmate and how she cheated on him.
Soulmate?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so good, Flick.
I know.
I'm glad you've returned. That's amazing. Okay, right, hang on, let me unpack it, because
You were
Chloe... What?
you seem genuinely shocked.
Yeah, no, I am shocked, because he's hinted at it. He said nothing, and I know Toby on the outside, and he's lovely, and he doesn't talk anything like nasty about people. He's just like one of the really genuine ones. So I am kind of maybe surprised that he's putting it out there. I think also for a guy, it's maybe like a bit of an ego thing.
A pride thing
Of that they don't, if they've been cheated on. So it's just different to a girl, isn't it? Not to be stereotypical, but it's...
Yeah.
I think the guy... I can imagine them not wanting anyone to know about that cheating thing. Whereas
I know.
girls, we kind of own it and we say, oh, we were cheated on, this happened, da-da-da.
I'm going to tell you what he says.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I'm reading
goodness.
this right. Sorry to be so unprofessional.
Can I
this off my phone.
I just kick that off by saying that what we know so far is when Chloe Burrows went on to Celebs Go Dating, she broke down in tears, and I was so invested, and I love Celebs Go Dating, so I was like fully invested in listening to like what happened. They just left us. They were moved in together, and then they just disappeared. So she said that she couldn't. The way that she put it was that it was on him. He couldn't continue the relationship, and it was her who was heartbroken. It was said in a clever way, I think, that made you believe that it was his fault.
Interesting.
Cue your line.
Okay. When we broke up, people always said that I cheated. It wasn't even my choice to end the relationship, but I had to end it because it's the cheating. When cheating, it's done. Bro, it hurts, it hurts. It hurts to get cheated on. With that girl, she was it. I was happy. Soulmate vibes. After that happened, bro, honestly, it was the hardest time of my life. So that's not being clever with his words. That's just straight up.
This is it now, yeah. Whereas I think you did get the impression with Chloe, and the thing is about celebs when they're media trained, especially, is that they can sound as if they're telling you something, and actually they've not told you anything at all. Does that make sense? So I think Chloe sort of was trying to push that away from, it was Toby's decision, she was left heartbroken. So, he's just taken down that fourth wall and been like, right, here guys, this is what has happened.
Well, the thing is, she wasn't lying. It was Toby's decision to end it because she cheated, and
she was heartbroken by it ending. So it's like there's some truth in that, but actually the real reason as to why they split wasn't mentioned.
So look, there's always two sides to every story. I'm sure that Chloe will want to have her say about this, but God,
and I do think Chloe is one of those who does like to sort of get involved. So I always like checking her Twitter. I have done this morning. There's nothing that's been said so far, but maybe after tonight's episode, she will have to speak out. And I do think that she kind of owes her fans that. But no wonder she didn't go into All Stars. Now it's kind of all starting to make sense. You wouldn't want to go in there and have all of that dredged up.
The dirty laundry aired.
Yeah, and when she knows that it's over.
Yeah. Well,
who did you cheat on him with?
Well, I know. So that's the next big question mark, isn't it? Detective Devlin.
We need to find out.
I know. So anyway, that's my huge news for you.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. I think we need a little pause right now because... So that was just too much to take in.
Lighten the mood.
Yeah, I've been speaking to Sammy Roots.
Ooh.
And he's going to be joining us on the podcast today.
So Sammy won in the summer with Jess.
Literally the last series.
Yeah.
So it feels very fresh with Jess. And he had a really horrible time, actually. He's dealt with it brilliantly, but he found out that his relationship with Jess was over when she was on a girls' trip to Ibiza, and a story came out in a rival newspaper, which had supposedly been leaked by a different, not by him, and he was left like completely devastated about it. He like just caught completely off guard. He thought that she was coming back and they were working on things, but it was just, that was it, and they haven't spoken since. It was that cut and dry. Anyway, he's been moving on. He grew really close to Tom and Casey and Joe Garrett. So they're the kind of like
bromance HQ.
It's very bromance HQ.
Yeah.
And so he had like quite a lot to say about them and whether he thinks that Tom is playing it safe with Molly just by going in there and like matching straight up to her and knowing that she was popular. He also gives me an insight into the heart rate challenge, because I needed to talk to him about that and like get some, for research purposes, look back at his dance.
He also, I seem to recall, was forced to wear those shiny tiny pants.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Research
The
purposes
shiny
to look at
tinies.
that. Like I had to look back and just make sure that was, the memory. So should we hear what he has to say?
Yeah, I'm interested in this one because I always just remember feeling like I was on Jess's side. So
Really?
I'm interested to hear about this one.
No. Okay, I'm going to try and convince you.
Roll the tapes.
Going back to the whole Molly and Callum, will they, won't they, end up back together. Tom, your friend, is embroiled in all of it. He was on that really awkward breakfast date scenario where it was like a double date with Molly and Callum.
Yeah.
And there was quite a few people online saying like, were they setting it up so that they could go on a date and then they're trying to like push Tom and Jess together instead? And I feel like, do you see him getting hurt? Are you maybe a bit worried that Molly will end up with Callum at the end of the day?
I mean, it's very hard to comment on because I'm not in the villa, and even so, I've watched quite a bit of mine since coming out, and there's moments in the villa where I know exactly how everyone was with each other at that point, and it doesn't look like that. So I don't it's very hard to comment on. I feel like Molly and Tom are getting on very well, and I feel like Callum and Molly are kind of past it, but then every now and again you do think, but it's a very hard one to comment on for me. I'd like to think he doesn't end up getting hurt and he stays with Molly, but yeah, I guess you just got to watch the show and find out.
Do you think that he's perhaps played it safe? Because obviously he had quite a lot of options, but then Molly was the one that was available, and now they've ended up together. And they're most popular, or like the sort of most favourite couple that's been voted by the public a few times now. So they sort of know that the public like them. Do you think that paves the way for them just getting through to the final, and it's easier to stay together?
Knowing Tom, I think Molly, if she was on the outside, he would have gone for her no matter what. I think Molly's very much his type. So for me, I'm going to say no. I think, and not only that, I really don't think Tom is the type of person to sort of just get on there for the final. I think he's for me, I think that's why we got on so well. He is a very, very real person like myself. And no, I mean, but considering how I know him and I know his type and I know what he's like, I'd say that he's just got in there, and I think he just does get on with Molly the most. And I think he does fancy her the most, to be fair.
Oh, she's stunning, isn't she? You could hardly not fancy her,
yeah. Certain things happen in the villa that you perhaps, you would never, ever, ever be put in these positions on the outside world, and you never have been in your life, and all of a sudden it's like, bang, you're put in a position, you have to sort of do this, decide this right here, right now. And it's like, I think sometimes people just don't understand just the type of positions that you are put in on the show, like that either don't get shown or come across differently. And I think, not to say Georgia Steele's been acting perfect. I think she probably has made some mistakes, as I did, as I think everyone does. And I think you're gonna make some mistakes, but at the same time, I think you just got to understand that you're put in very, very, very like unrealistic situations, and
Yeah,
so
totally.
to make the perfect decision every single time, I think and I think certain islanders are put in more this like more controversial decisions than others. Like myself, like I was sort of forced to break up, and then I was the only one single for Casa, and then it was like some islanders are put in a lot more positions than others are. So it's like to rate each islander on their experience when some are put in more positions than others, it's sometimes I think a bit more unfair. But at the same time, it is what it is at the end of the day. And I think you just gotta, if you're going on a show like that, you've just got to expect it. And I'm very, very thick-skinned, so yeah, not much gets to me.
Important question. What did you make
Go
of
on.
their sexy dancing? Toby and Toby and Tom in particular. Were you impressed by it?
The sexy dancing, I mean, I was impressed. I think I was better, but I mean, I don't think they're in my league, but I think they
They
done very
tried,
well.
didn't they?
They tried
That's
their
all
best,
they
but
can do. Yeah.
they can't move like Sammy. Do you know what I mean?
What is it like in the villa at that point? Like, do they have the music playing out?
Yeah,
when it's
so-
actually happening, because it doesn't seem in sync with when we're watching
No,
it.
yeah. So you can't choose your song, so they'll give you a song. And in my one particular, obviously it's a different villa. You'd go into the bedroom, and then you got the big long flowery corridor. So you'd be in the bedroom with the door in front of you. You'd hear the music, and then they'd say, "Right, go." And then you open the door, and then with my song, I did not like my song. It felt like it didn't get going, and I was just stood there in the flowery corridor. I was waiting for it to sort of get going, to come out like on smoke. And it just didn't, so I was like, right, I've just got to go, and I just sort of winged it, and yeah. So they do play music, but you can't choose, and I think some of the boys get a better song than some of the others, and it sort of does zone you out a bit. But I thought that challenge was one of my favourites. That was so funny.
See, Detective Devlin delivers again.
Oh.
Because yesterday on the show we were just discussing about the heart rate challenge with the music, and there you go. Sammy has revealed all. We needed that kind of first-hand knowledge in there.
Truth's truth.
Yeah.
Love it.
So yeah, are you team Sammy now? I feel like you should be.
I just feel like I would really like to strap every single islander up to a lie detector test.
He's so genuine.
No, I know. There's always two sides to every story, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there is.
So yeah, good on him.
So I wanted to mention Georgia Steele and something that I've noticed that she does and has done in this series, but also in the series gone by.
Go on.
And on different reality shows. Obviously, this is all speculation. I don't want to be sued, but she has been... But she has been calling people the wrong name to kind of deliberately belittle, perhaps. I mean, I've actually done it before with like a previous boyfriend's ex-girlfriend where like I knew that her name was something else, but would just sort of say this other name just to kind of just be a bit of a bitch. Like, we do that sometimes. So Georgia was caught out doing that last night. She was calling Jess Eve.
Yes, I did notice that.
And then it sparked this whole online debate about whether that was actually genuine or not. You know, okay, fine, they're twins.
Yeah.
But they're actually, like, there's only one in there now. And it led a lot of people to sort of bring up these past clips of Georgia doing a similar thing, you know, just making sure that she is Queen Bee.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed, do you know Judy James, body language kind of extraordinaire?
Queen of.
So she was talking about the heart rate challenge with Georgia and just how that wasn't about the boys.
No.
It was all about her securing her place as Queen Bee. And I think that that's what the kind of names thing, it's all kind of goes into one.
The Regina Georging.
Yes, for sure. It's proper Mean Girls stuff. And yeah, I mean, she's just an icon of Mean Girls. Like, she is, isn't she? You're so right. That
she
is her.
Because that's the thing with Regina George. Like, colossal mean girl.
Can we say Regina? Does everyone know? Like, do we have to sort of
you know, like Queen of the Plastics, they call it,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like Regina George off of Mean
Yeah.
Girls, off of Lindsay Lohan, off of Brilliant.
Yes.
Off
of Brilliant.
But I completely agree. I have another theory about it.
Okay.
And I do absolutely agree on that, because hasn't there also been occasions where it's almost been felt like a kind of racial microaggression as well, sort of deliberately getting people's names wrong? And it was when she was behind the bar on After Sun. I can't remember whose name it was, but Maya corrected the pronunciation, and she like doubled down on, I can't even remember who she was talking about, but certainly not the first time it's been flagged for her, has it?
No, absolutely.
Part of me wonders whether she knows people talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's like an attention thing.
Mm-hmm. I've heard certainly another theory that was that she is dyslexic, and that perhaps it is just like something that comes from that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick to my Mean Girls theory because it's kind of funnier. And I do think that like Georgia has it in her to be that kind of calculated way, and in a brilliant way. Like, I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
And I think that she just likes to just point out, like, I'm sorry, but I'm the main character here. And whoever you are, can't remember your name, but you are not.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's so funny, you know, because when I spoke to Georgia before she went into the villa, like very much her whole vibe. For example, when we said to her, "Oh, so are you still loyal, babe?" She was like, "Oh God, I'm not that little girl anymore. You know, I'm a sophisticated young lady now." She kept saying, "I'm a sophisticated young lady."
She said that a couple of times in the villa.
And she said it in her VT as well.
Yeah.
So obviously that was her whole thing going in. Like, you know, for example, her dress sense now is, you know, sophisticated, isn't it? It's also black, and there's no sparkly eyeshadow and all that kind of thing. So but she seems to have forgotten that she's actually
being filmed.
She's actually just like very bloody messy.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether
saying it over and over again doesn't make it true.
No.
I think that's the...
Yeah. I don't know whether she'll look back and think, I don't love how I've come across. I don't know if it's landed.
Her friends and family have sort of said that she'll be devastated to see the reaction, because she's had some really, really difficult moments in there, and Sammy touched upon that, where certain edits can maybe reflect something different.
Of course.
But I think she's going to come out and be quite shocked by the comments. Although that challenge last night, she knows she's a main character, so that's tick. But she knows it's all quite negative things. I don't think there was anything that was positive at all that was mentioned.
No. They did win hottest.
Yeah. Okay.
So she'll have liked that.
Did they actually?
Yeah, look, I wrote it down here for you.
Oh.
Because I got ready for the podcast.
Do you know what? I feel like that was not right, and I shouldn't. No. That's Tom and Molly.
Are you questioning my admin?
No. I'm just thinking it's Tom and Molly. It should be Tom and Molly.
No, they were cleverest, remember?
Oh, yeah. No, totally. That was a bit out there, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, look, I've never... I need to strap them up to a mastermind as well as a lie detector.
Georgia and Toby have a degree. And it was like, right, okay. But we were talking about more sort of, I don't know, like, it doesn't have to be just going to university, does it, to be clever?
No, we've got degrees and we're sat in a room filled with people wearing bikinis talking about Love Island. So.
Exactly. You know, it takes all sorts.
It really does. I want to talk briefly about Molly and Tom because I just feel like she's got the ick.
I know.
It feels like now, you know that moment in bed where she just sort of like laughed at him. She can't even be bothered to have the row with him because I think it's...
That was a really cringy moment. He just said, "It's just you and me,
babe." Like, I just think she's like, you're recycling the lines. You've got nothing to. All of this.
There's nothing to say. That's the issue. There's nothing new there. There's no new content, and it's just been too easy. Like, how can it? He was saying all of these things about him wanting her to be his girlfriend. you know, just like days into it. It just felt like so
Yeah.
rehearsed. But you know that this is the Tom Clare Appreciation Podcast, and
I
don't
just
like
want
to
to
have
also say
anything-
that I didn't approve that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but you were away. So yesterday it became it. And I spent the whole time basically just talking about his hot pants.
No,
Honestly, like,
that's
I can't think of
approved.
anything else that was said yesterday apart from that.
I'm going to write this on your report. Tom Clare issues.
But I do. So the thing about Molly, I obviously have the same taste because Molly and Callum are actually my two favourites. Molly, Callum, Tom are my two favourites.
Do you know what
You know
Tom
what I mean?
Clare is? He's a lovely stage. So I've talked about this before, stage and the superstar being like a really nice, sometimes basis for relationships. For some people it works really well. And he's a lovely stage for the right girl. And I don't think Molly is a superstar. She's gorgeous, clever, funny, but she doesn't have the superstar energy. Georgia Steele, you know, main character might be another way of saying it. And I just think Molly is going to ride this out and
Yeah.
then get back together with Callum.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you know,
Because-
someone said, I saw someone had had kindly commented on the podcast, and they'd said that we make Molly and Callum sound like a Hallmark movie. Which I think, you know, that's reference to us wanting everything to be perfect and like a fairy tale.
I don't
But
see was that a criticism? Because I don't see what's wrong with that.
No, that's
Like,
surely that's a compliment.
Yeah, surely.
people get
surely.
paid to write those.
I think Callum last night in the challenge, like his personality came out, and I think you can see that he's got that kind of really cheeky, funny side. And there's still so much chemistry between him and Molly that it just lacks with Tom. And last night I think Georgia Steele was going on one of her rants, defending her and Toby. Don't know if you've heard that one before. And then Callum just starts snoring and Molly just cracked up. Like, it's just those little things, and you just see how they're just so cute together.
It's going to happen. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Gosh. Right, well, obviously tonight I feel like the big headline is this Chloe Borrows Toby situation.
Yeah. Can I just ask? And
Yeah.
this is like, I mean, like I said, I really like Toby, so I'm not saying this from a place of judgment. Could this be? I feel bad even saying it. Right, I'm gonna have to say it. Could him talking about the cheating when he hasn't done for all of this time be off the back of that challenge where it's all very negative towards him and Georgia?
Yeah.
Is this the perfect timing to bring in a little bit of a sob story ahead of the final?
I think whether consciously or subconsciously, potentially. Probably more subconsciously. You know, if you feel like nobody likes you, you're going to try and win them back. Like, even if it's just to the people in the villa, you know what I mean? Never mind the public perception. Like, maybe, you know, that's his ace, isn't it? Like, I'm least likely to cheat because I was hurt. I mean, God, let's face it, there's plenty of people who have been cheated on who then go on to cheat. It's not necessarily a guarantee, is it?
Well, what's the saying? Hurt people hurt. So
Oh.
yeah. Did that?
We should put that as the
resonate there?
slogan above cracking on Psychology Inc. Hurt people hurt, so come get fixed.
Yaz from Towie told me that.
Oh.
And I loved that saying. She said, hurt people hurt.
Yeah, it's a good one. So anyway, can't wait to dig into all of that with you tomorrow. Can't believe we've only got like a handful of eps left.
I know, what are we going to do?
Molly and Callum, get a move on.
I know, they are cutting it a bit too fine now.
We are in the final act of the Hallmark movie, and I'm yet to see the bow.
So I'm thinking that it'll be final night. Maya's there in the villa, everyone's there, and it'll be a moment, it'll have to just be like where Molly and Callum just get up and just sit next to each other and be like, we're back together. Like, whether you like it or not. And everything's thrown into the air. It's chaos in the villa.
I mean, that would be iconic, wouldn't it?
It would be
I don't
great.
like using that word.
We
We
use it all the
overuse
time.
we overuse
Yeah.
iconic, but that would be iconic.
Iconic is saved for Georgia Steele. Basically.
She wishes.
Anyway, we'll catch up more tomorrow.
See you then.